Hi guys, Brittany here from Just Be Creations, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you all the steps that you need to successfully make our summertime granny shawl pattern. This pattern features yarn from Michaels. It's a DK weight number 3 yarn and it's by Loops and Threads. It's 55% superwash merino wool and 45% acrylic. You will need a total of 3 balls for this shawl. As you can see, this shawl pattern features the traditional granny square or the traditional granny stitch with just a little bit of a twist. I did want to mention that I have not yet blocked my shawl. So this right here is not the finished shawl. I'm sorry, it's not the finished look. So I will be blocking it later today, and then later on in the video you will see how nice the stitch really opens up. I just want to let you guys know that before starting the steps that you need to create this shawl. Okay, so to begin, we're going to start off with a magic circle. However is comfortable for you, make your magic circle. I'm going to try my best to show it clearly how I do it. Kind of looks a little bit wonky and funny on camera, but you will be able, I'll try to show it to you the best I can. So I like to take it and I like to wrap it around my 2 fingers 3 times. I take my hook, and I did want to mention also, we are starting off with our 6mm crochet hook. I take my hook, I insert it underneath these 2 loops here. And then I grab my 3rd loop and I pull up. Whoops. Let me try that again. I grab my 3rd loop and I pull up a loop. And I'm going to get you to chain 3. Okay, so magic circle complete. All the stitches from here on out for this round will be worked inside of the ring. The chain 3 in this pattern counts as a stitch here and throughout. So remember that whenever you are working this pattern. Also in the pattern, I refer to the 3 double crochets as clusters. So I just wanted you to know that if you're reading through the pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to work 2 double crochet stitches into the ring. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to insert our hook into the circle. We're going to pull up a loop. We're going to pull through 2. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2. We're going to want to make another double crochet. So let's do that again. We're going to yarn over, inserting our hook into the magic ring, pulling up a loop, and then we're going to pull through 2, yarning over and pulling through another 2. And this is our first cluster made. Now we're going to chain 1. What we're going to do now is we're going to work the part of the triangle that points. You'll see what I mean in just a second. So we're going to work 2 double crochets into the magic circle. So that's 1 double crochet. And now we have 2 double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1. And now we're going to work 2 double crochet. After we work our 2 double crochets, we're going to chain 1. And then lastly, we're going to work 3 double crochet stitches into the ring. So ultimately for this shawl, One thing to note is that you're going to want to make sure that every time you end a round, that on the opposite side of your middle point, you want to have it matching. So what I mean by that is we started with one cluster and then we did our center point and then we have a cluster. So we know that we're on track because we have the same amount of work worked on both sides. So a cluster on this side, there has to be another cluster on this side to account for it. So that's a little tip to stay on the lookout for, just to keep you on track so that you don't mess up. Now that we've worked that, I'm going to put my hook down for just a second and I'm going to show you how to close the ring. So traditionally you will take your tail and you'll pull it tight. You'll pull the loop, and whichever loop is pulling in, you will pull that in, and then you'll take your tail and you'll close it. But because we're trying to make a triangular shape, we're not going to pull it super tight. So we're still going to do the same things. We're just not going to completely pull it extremely tight. So take your tail and just start to slowly pull it. Whichever loop starts to pull in, you're going to take the loop that's pulling in, and then you're going to pull it. And you're going to see it's going to pull in the other loop. So you're just going to continue to pull it nice and slow. Don't aggressively close it super tight. I like to leave just like a little small little hole there. Then you're going to take your tail and then you are going to pull. And so now you have your shape. So for round 2, we're going to start off chaining 3. I've already chained my 3. Now we're going to work 2 more double crochet stitches into the first stitch here. Remember, the chain 3 counts as a stitch, so we just need to add 2 more double crochets in order to make the cluster be complete. So you're going to work your 2 double crochets. Now you're going to chain 1. You're going to find the first chain 1 space, and you're going to work your 3 doubles into that chain 1 space. So that's 1, that's 2, and 3. We're going to chain 1. Now we're going to go to the next chain 1 space. Now we're into the center of the shawl. So we're going to work 2 doubles. And then we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to work another 2 doubles, all into that same chain 1 space. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1. We're going to go to the very next chain 1 space, and we're going to work our 3 doubles. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip over these 2 double crochets and we're going to come to our chain 3 space. You're going to work your final cluster into this space here between this double crochet stitch and the chain 3. So work your 3 doubles here. 1, 2, and 3. So we have completed row 2. Let's go back and examine our work. We have 2 clusters on this side. We have our peak, our point of the shawl, and we have our 2 doubles on this side. So each round, we're going to go up a one cluster on each side. So again, to stay on track, just make sure that you have the same number of clusters on each side of your center of the shawl. Okay, so for round 3, we're going to start the same way that we started both of our previous rounds. We're going to start it off with a chain 3. And now we're going to work our 2 double crochets into the very first stitch here. So if you haven't noticed already, every time we get to a chain 1 space, that is where we are going to work our clusters. So key things to remember is after you work every cluster, remember to chain 1. Your chain 1 spaces are going to be the space that the next cluster on the next round, that's going to be where your stitch is worked in. Now, if you don't want to chain 1, you could just omit the chain 1 space and then just skip over the 3. But the chain 1, it makes it a lot more easier to kind of stay on track because you can see this space here a lot more. So we did our chain 1, and now we've come to our first chain 1 space. So let's work our cluster. And remember, after each cluster, you're going to chain 1. We're going to go to our next chain 1 space, and we're going to work a cluster. So we finished round 2. We had 2 clusters on each side of the center. So now we're on to round 3. We should have 3 on this side before we reach the center. So 1, 2, and 3. Now that we've reached the center, we're going to work our 2 double crochets into the chain 1 space. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work our 2 double crochets all into that chain 1 space here. And now you're going to chain 1. We're going to go to our first chain 1 space, and we're going to work our cluster. That's 1 double crochet. That's 2. And 3. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work another cluster into our next chain 1 space. This pattern's really simple and it works up really quickly. So you're going to work this up in a jiffy. So now we have completed that cluster. We did our chain 1, and now we've come to the very last space here. And remember, we're going to work this cluster in between the chain 3 space and the last double crochet. All right, and that is the end of row 3. Now you can kind of see the shawl kind of taking its shape. I'm going to work one more round with you just to make sure that you get how to increase the shawl. And then I'm going to show you how to finish off your to work the last 3 rounds of the shawl once you get to the size that you want it to be. So when you finish round 3, I will meet you back for round 4. Okay, so for round 4, we're going to start it the same way that we've started each and every round, with our chain 3. We're going to work our 2 doubles, and then we're going to work our chain 1, and we're going to find our first chain 1 space, and then we're going to work our 3 doubles. Now we're going to chain 1 again, and you're going to work excuse me, you're going to work your 3 doubles. You're going to continue to repeat that all the way until you get to your center point. I'm going to pull back my work just to kind of show you really quick, because like I said, it's worked in the same manner that we have been working. The only thing that's changing is the stitches. So for the double crochet rounds, we chained 3. So for treble crochet stitches, we're going to chain 4. The chain 4 still counts as a stitch, so it will be the first treble crochet. We chain 4 because the chain 4 is the height of a treble crochet. So once we do our chain 4, we're going to yarn over twice, insert our hook into that very first stitch, and we're going to pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pulling through 2. Now we're going to do that again. We're going to work another treble crochet back down into that same stitch. So you're going to yarn over twice, going through the stitch, pulling up a loop, pulling through 2, pulling through 2, and then pulling through 2. So you've completed your first cluster of treble crochets. You're going to chain 1 like usual. Now we're going to find our chain 1 space, and we are going to work a treble crochet. So that's 1 treble crochet, yarning over twice, going through the stitch, pulling through 2, pulling through 2, and pulling through 2. You're going to chain 1, yarning over twice, going through the space here, pulling up a loop, pulling through 2, pulling through 2, and pulling through 2. So it's the same way that you have been working. Like I said, the only thing that's different is just the fact that you're changing from double crochet to treble crochets. Now again, if you find this to be too difficult or you just don't like the look of it, you can always just finish off, instead of 2 rounds of trebles, you can finish off with 4 rounds of the double crochet clusters. Okay, so I've made it to my center, and we're going to chain 1 like usual. We're going to go into the center stitch, the chain 1 space, and we're going to work 2 trebles. Then we're going to go back down into there, yarning over twice to make the trebles, and making our treble. Chaining 1, yarning over twice, and working our last 2 trebles right here into the center. And you're just going to repeat in this way all the way around on the other side. So like I said, the only thing that's different is just the stitches. It's the same way that we have been doing throughout the entire pattern, just the stitches is changed. So what I'm going to get you to do is work up the amount of rows that you want to add the treble crochets, and then I'm going to show you how to finish it off before you get to your blocking. Okay, so let's pretend we finished our shawl. We've worked our 2 rows of treble crochets. Now what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1. This round is just single crocheting into all of the stitches and the chain 1 space. I'm doing that so that we'll have a nice stitch to work into when we attach our fringe, and that'll just make it a lot more easier when you're attaching the fringe. So you're just going to chain 1. Oh, forgot to mention, this round we're going to use the smaller hook, so remember to change over to your 5mm hook. So you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to work a single crochet into the first stitch. You're going to work a single crochet into the next stitch, and then you're going to work another single crochet into the next stitch. You're going to get to the chain 1 space and you're going to work 1 single crochet. Then you're going to get to the next stitch. You have 3 stitches coming, so you're going to work 1 single crochet in each of the stitches, and you're just going to complete that all the way until you reach your center space. Once you reach the center, I'm just going to work a single crochet into the chain 1 space. And then I'm going to continue to work single crochet stitches all the way down the other side in the same manner. So another thing I want to mention is when you work your round of single crochets, be sure to make sure, even if you have to fasten off, make sure that you are on your right side of your work when you work your row of single crochet stitches. And you're just going to continue working single crochet stitches all the way down the other side of the shawl. Of course, you will have a lot more stitches than I do. I'm just working a little small swatch just to show you the steps that I use to create this design. And when you get to the end, you're going to work just a simple single crochet into this chain 3 space, and then you'll fasten off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you complete your shawl, and then I'm going to meet you back and show you how to finish it off with the fringe that you will need. Okay, so I have completed my shawl. I attached my fringe. It's been blocked. I'm going to quickly show you how to add the fringe. You're going to take a strand of the yarn left over from the shawl. Find that single crochet stitch. You're going to insert it into the stitch. Take it, pull it through, and then open the circle up just a little, grab the tails and pull the tails through and tighten it down. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed this pattern. Stay tuned for more patterns to come. As always, never miss a stitch and have a great afternoon.